Greetings and welcome to PJ's Kitchen. My name is Peter James from the website peterjamesx.com with the Babylon Report. Today we are looking at the subject called the Northern Army and its Allies. You know, we're supposed to be having global warming. And this is August, almost the middle of August, and it's so cool. I've had to put on a light jumper. So much for global warming. And my plants were just been blown down, so I've cut some gladiola, saved them from being absolutely destroyed by the incessant high winds. Anyway, we're going to discuss today the Northern Army and its allies. So first we're going to tell you what we're going to discuss, because the way the scripture is written, it's here a little, there a little. The verses are not necessarily written in sequence, and this particular subject is a difficult one. I have set the message out in 7 sections to try and put some order into it. So the first question we are asking, I will list the 7 points first and then deal with each point in turn. When are we going to be punished? Because we are going to be punished for our rebellion against the Most High. Well, this is going to happen just prior to the day of the Lord, which is the time when Christ intervenes in the world affairs as King of Kings. The second point is, why are we being punished? Well, I just mentioned that because we are in rebellion against the Most High God. Then 3, how are we going to be punished? Well, it is utter defeat and deportation as slaves to foreign lands. But in the meantime, many other curses are taking place right now. We'll have a little look at that as well. So who is going to punish us? Well, it's the Northern Army and an associated company of armies, which I'm referring to as the Northern Army and its allies. 5, where are our shepherds and our watchmen? Well, they have deserted the flocks, or they are leading them astray, or they are leading their sheep to the slaughter. Then I have a 6th point of points that relate to this, and they are my personal observations. And finally, the 7th point is, what can we do as individuals? Because this subject affects everyone on planet Earth. And it is a negative subject, so if we can't give you some hope for the future, you would just end up being very distressed. So we have established what we are going to discuss, and the second thing I need to say in relation to what we're discussing, we need to understand that in many prophecies there is a former and a latter fulfillment. So most of the verses we are quoting here have had a former fulfillment, not all, but we are dealing with the latter fulfillment. Before we get fully into the subject, I have already been asked, these armies that you're speaking about, are they going to cross the dried up Euphrates, which is mentioned in the book of Revelation? Is it the same army you're speaking about? The answer is no, it is not the same army. Revelation 16:12 says, and the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. So you see clearly the verse in Revelation is speaking about the Euphrates being dried up to make way for the kings of the east. Now, I'm not saying there won't be some intermingling. I think there will be some intermingling just because of the geography that's involved. But what is certain is there's a lot of confusing warfare going to take place. As someone said today, you know, what you're saying is really what the Bible talks about, being in labor pains. You know, where one pain comes and is followed by another, and it becomes swifter and swifter and swifter until the child is actually born. Well, in the case of the Eastern armies, they are being brought to the area of Armageddon. God has assigned Satan to do that, as you can see if you were to actually read the report in Revelation 16. He has brought them there for destruction. I recommend that you have a look at our revival message, the audio, not the audio, the video or the document, because this is directly related to it. We went through the entire book of Joel and we explained that the Northern Army was not an army of revival, but it was an army of judgment. You know, staying with this Revelation 16, what we have here is the armies of the world are gathered at Armageddon for their destruction, pure and simple, so that the earth can be cleansed of the abomination of the armies of the world. Whereas the Northern Army is gathered in the valley of Jehoshaphat, where the Eternal pleads with the Northern Army and its allies for its people, Israel, who have been defeated, sold as slaves even to the Grecians, and sent to the four corners of the earth. And I have made a note, but I may as well put it in here. The Northern Army has allies, as I said. And, you know, sometimes we think that people are our friends, but time shows they're not. And what we are told here, we'll hit this again later, but I'll mention this particular point at the moment, that the Israelites are sold to the Greeks. Now, we think they are on our side and are our friends, but the Bible says that's not the case at all. And we don't know if the same applies to the massive land country of Turkey, which is also to the north of the nation called Israel. The recent hostilities between Georgia, which is a country backed by the USA, it has several hundred American and intelligence military advisors. The action by Russia gives us a preview of what and how the Northern Army is going to react in the coming hostilities. The speed and destructive force thrown against Georgia was quite unexpected by them and I suppose everybody else. The Russians said they were just protecting their own people. The Georgians said for this to have happened so quickly it had to have been planned for a long time. Well, it probably was planned for a long time.